In this video, the absolute basics to get up and running with these strip LEDs. If you just want to know how to make them work, stick around. Before we start, there is an important distinction to make. These strips look similar but are quite different, and it is an easy trap to fall into as they are both RGB LED strips. Let's zoom in to see the difference. The addressable type that we are working with today have three contacts. Power, labeled plus 5 volts on this one, data and ground or GND here. The other strip has 4 contacts plus 5 volts, RG and B. These work quite different, and we aren't going to look at this one today. Let me know in the comments if you would like to know how to use this type. We are going to focus on the 3 connector type, usually called 2812B. Addressable LEDs can come with more than 3 connectors, but these ones are by far the most common. The strips usually ship in spools like this and should also come with a male end to connect to your project. That is long gone on my test strip here, so I have just added a header for our lesson. We are also going to use a breadboard, although you could connect this directly to your Arduino. To keep things simple, we are going to use the gold standard Arduino Uno for our testing. Okay, let's get into wiring this thing up. If you've never used a breadboard before, they make it incredibly easy to build circuits without any soldering. When I push our LED strip into the board here, the conductive paths run across the board in this direction. That means anything connected along this row will be electrically connected to that leg of the LED strip. First, we'll connect the ground wire to these power rails over here. They're a little different from the rest of the board. The conductive path runs down only half the length of the breadboard, and that's important to remember later in the video. Next, we'll add the 5-volt wire and then our signal wire. I'm going to place the signal wire on the other side of the center valley for now, so it doesn't connect to the LED strip just yet. Over on the Arduino, we'll connect power to the VIN pin. I'm powering the Arduino from USB, so that's perfectly fine. If you're using a higher voltage through the barrel jack, do not connect that voltage directly to the LEDs. They expect 5 volts, and anything significantly higher will very quickly destroy them. There are also 5-volt pins available on the Arduino, and for just a few LEDs, it's usually fine to power them from there as well. Now we'll connect a ground wire from the Arduino to our breadboard power rail. And once again, remember that the power rails only run halfway down the board. Finally, we'll connect the data wire. This needs to go to one of the Arduino's digital pins. The analog pins on the other side aren't what we want for this example. I'm going to use digital pin 2. Now let's go back to the breadboard. You'll notice we deliberately left a gap between the data wire and the LED strip. That's because even though the strip runs on 5 volts, the data line can be a different voltage depending on the microcontroller you're using. Connecting it directly isn't always the best idea, so we're going to add a resistor in series with the data line. If you're using something like an ESP32, the GPIO pins are already 3.3 volts, so the risk is lower, but adding a resistor is still considered good practice. I'm using a 4.7 kiloohm resistor here to help protect the first LED in the strip. Also pay attention, if you do add your own connector, that there is an arrow on the strip pointing to the direction of the data flow. Your first LED needs to be pointing away from the arrow so the data flows from that LED to the next. One final thing to note, if the first pixel gets damaged, the entire strip will usually stop working. That's because each pixel receives the data and passes it on to the next one. If the first pixel dies, the data can't get any further down the chain. If that happens, don't panic. You can simply cut off the damaged pixel, reconnect to the next one, and this time make sure you've got that resistor installed. Now that we have the LEDs hooked up, we can jump into programming them in the Arduino IDE. If we were to write our own code to drive these LEDs from scratch, we'd be here for days. They use a special communication protocol that's quite timing sensitive. Fortunately, the good people at Adafruit have already done all the hard work for us and provided a library that lets us leapfrog that learning curve. The first thing we need to do is include that library, which you can see here at the top of the sketch. Now, if you're completely new to Arduino, you might try compiling this code and find that it fails. That's probably because the library isn't installed yet. Don't worry, it's very easy to add. Just go to Sketch, Include Library, and then Manage Libraries. Once the library manager opens, type Adafruit into the search box. Scroll down until you find the NeoPixel library and click Install. Once that's finished, come back to the sketch. The next thing we do is define the pin we're using. During the wiring section, we connected our data wire to pin 2, so that's what we're setting here. After that, we define the number of LEDs. In our case, there are only 4, but this could just as easily be 40, 400, or even more. Next comes the Adafruit NeoPixel object. This is where we tell the library how many LEDs we have, which pin they're connected to, and what type of LEDs we're using. Inside the setup function, we start the library with pixels begin. Think of this as turning the library on and getting everything ready to communicate with the LEDs. After that, we set the color of each individual pixel. The number inside the brackets is the LED number. Just remember that computers start counting at 0, not 1. So LED 0 is actually the first LED, LED 1 is the second, and so on. The colors themselves are specified using standard red, green, and blue values. Each color can have a value between 0 and 255, allowing us to create millions of different color combinations. Once we've assigned all of our colors, we call pixels show. Up until this point, all we've done is tell the Arduino what colors we want. Nothing has actually been sent to the LEDs yet. The show command sends all that information down the strip and updates the LEDs. We now have our Arduino programmed and our LED strip wired up. All things being equal, we should be able to plug in the Arduino and see some light. And there we go. Great success. They're a little bright for the camera, but you'll have to take my word for it. That's red, green, blue, and white. Now, powering a handful of LEDs from the Arduino is usually fine. But once we start getting into the hundreds of LEDs, we really don't want all that current flowing through the Arduino. Instead, we want to power the strip from an external power source. I'm going to demonstrate that using this USB power bank. At the moment, this power bank is completely independent from the Arduino. As I mentioned earlier, the power rails on this breadboard are split in half, which means I can safely connect the power bank to the other side without immediately connecting it to the Arduino's power supply. So let's hook the LED strip directly to the power bank. Now if we reboot the Arduino, you'll notice the LEDs still don't work. The reason is that we don't have a common ground reference. The Arduino is sending out data signals, but the LED strip has no reference point for what those signals actually mean. As far as the LEDs are concerned, the data line may as well not exist. The fix is very simple. We just connect the ground from the Arduino to the ground from the power bank. Now both devices share the same reference point. With the grounds connected, we can reboot the Arduino and the LEDs spring back to life, even though they're being powered entirely by the battery bank. In fact, once the LEDs have received their color information, we can disconnect the Arduino completely and they'll stay on. However, if we remove power from the LEDs and then reconnect it, they stay off. That's because the LEDs don't remember their state. When they power up, they wait for fresh data from the Arduino before displaying anything. Without the Arduino sending that data, the strip simply sits there waiting for instructions. Hopefully this gives you a good head start on getting going with LED strips. They are great for projects, notifications, and displays. I used them recently in a traffic map project. If you have made it this far, you should totally subscribe or follow. Thanks for watching.